Believe it or not, we have done over 100 videos on our Tesla Model Y. And one of the #1 questions that we always get a few months after the video originally goes up on YouTube is, how do you guys still like the accessories? So I thought today would be a good day to kind of revisit some of them. Do we still love it? Do we still use it? And would we still recommend it? So we're gonna take a look at the top 10 accessories and modifications we've done to our Tesla Model Y since we've had it. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We're not gonna waste any time. We got 10 things we gotta get through. So let's start off with some of the cheaper things that were inside the car. The first is a screen protector. Now, literally the first accessory we put on our car the day we got it was a screen protector. Now, the original screen protector we put on was made by Abstract Ocean. It was a matte finish one. It even did its job through an accidental contact. Thankfully, the screen protector cracked, which then saved the screen behind it, and the screen didn't crack. We ended up getting a second one, and the ones from Abstract Ocean come with like a complete idiot-proof installation process. They run about like 50 bucks, and they're really easy to do. Links to all of the items that I'm going to cover with you guys will be down in the description below. Most of it is affiliate links, so you do support the channel if you go ahead and use our link, so thank you very much. And if we have any coupon codes to any of this stuff, we will link that down in the description below as well to try and save you guys a little bit of money. All right, let's move on to the second item relating to screen. This one actually also came from Abstract Ocean. It is the screen swivel rotation mount. This thing, I gotta tell you, this thing is awesome. Obviously, as you can see, we still have it installed. It's so functional because, I mean, when you first buy the Model Y, the screen is perfectly straight, which, don't get me wrong, it looks good and it's functional. But as the driver sitting on this side, like, you kind of want the screen to be tilted a little bit towards you so you get a more straight on view. It's a super easy installation. I think it took like maybe 30 minutes to do. Now, the one from Abstract Ocean is super durable, and it also looks very factory-like, and it's just quality, which is why that was the one that I recommended. I know there's tons of them out there. They do make ones that are like full tilt that like go up and down as well. We actually don't really need that one. We just got the one that goes side to side. It just makes it a little bit easier every time you like glance over from having to drive. This is probably the most truly functional accessory out of everything we've done on the channel. It does also give a little bit of resistance. So like, you know, if we were to be driving pretty fast and all of a sudden I jack the wheel, this thing isn't going to turn. I mean, you literally have to put some force behind it to get it to move. Now, this kit in particular that we got from Abstract Ocean runs about $200. All right, now moving down from the screen, let's go ahead and talk about the cup holders. Now, they make cup holder inserts for in here, and I do highly recommend the cup holder inserts. These cup holders, they're fine just by themselves, don't get me wrong, but if anything spills in there, this bottom material, it doesn't really come out, so it doesn't really make it easy to clean. These cup holder inserts take care of that problem. I mean, they easily just pull out. You can wash them. Most of them are made of silicone, and they're pretty easy to put in and out. We've done ones by Top Fit, Vion, Tomei. We've shown ones from Spigen. Honestly, the one that we keep in there right now and that we've actually been using for probably the longest is this one from Spigen. The reason why we like this one is this one has like these little rubber things in here, these things. These things are pretty stiff, and let me tell you, they really do hold a beverage like really tight. I'm a sucker for the carbon fiber, so I do kind of like the appearance of it. I also like that this one's kind of slim. It doesn't have like a big bezel that goes around. It really is just kind of minimal and just kind of hangs out there and looks pretty sleek and looks like, honestly, like it kind of belongs. Like I said, there's multiple out there. I'm gonna throw the link to the one that we're currently using from Spigen down below. Usually you can find these things anywhere between like 20 and 40 bucks. I think the one from Spigen is like $22 or something like that. All right, so for the next several, we're gonna move outside the car, which there's actually a lot of. The first that we're gonna take a look at is the chrome delete that we did on the car. Ours is a refreshed 2021 Model Y, so it did already come with a mostly chrome delete, but there's still a few pieces of chrome that Tesla left that they didn't get rid of altogether, like the badging that's on the front and the rear of the car, as well as the dual motor emblem that's on the back of the car. First one is the badge that we did on the front of the car. We totally replaced it with a different one. This one is a matte black that we put on here. Honestly, this is like a 5-minute install. It's super easy. Now, this one that we replaced it with is one that we got off of Amazon. Honestly, it's $6. Like, this was literally $6. Now, this thing we've had on here for quite a while, and it even got pulled off when we got our car PPF'd, and Grant and his team redid all of that, and it still survived and made it back on. For $6, I don't see how you could go wrong, even if you end up not liking it. We also made changes to the back. Forgive this really muddy mess. We actually did just come from a soccer tournament that was kind of held at a turf farm, so it was a little messy there. We replaced the dual motor emblem that normally appears there. Now, as you can tell, it's not there. So we actually got rid of it. This was something that we opted to get rid of and not put back when we had our car PPF'd by Grant. And it held up fine. All the letters were there. Nothing gave off. The dual motor was actually something that we picked up from Abstract Ocean. I think it was like $23, and we'll throw a link to it down below. It even comes with the red line on the bottom, so if you have a performance model and you still want to keep that red line, you can still do it. We did the Tesla letters right here. We're all about trying to have our Tesla stand out a little bit because there's so many Teslas now on the road. We just really liked the way that this looks when we kind of took it off, and we wanted to make that change. Now, again, this is something that we got from Amazon, really easy. This is like $20. And when we bought it, it already comes pre-spaced as well. In between each of these letters, there's like a bunch of styrofoam. So literally you just peel the double-sided backer off the bottom, and then it comes already pre-spaced, so you just clean the surface, you apply it. It's super easy to install. We're also gonna point out one other modification that we made back here, and that was the spoiler. We added the performance carbon fiber spoiler to the back of our car. This was made by Top Fit. Again, this was an early accessory that we did to our car, but this one, quite honestly, we wouldn't recommend. Over time, the carbon fiber on this edge here started to kind of chip away. Now, it actually looks okay right now because Grant and his team saw how like this was all chipped away, and they actually wrapped this with a carbon fiber wrap. I would say after about 6 to 8 months, this one started to really show signs of wear along here. Either it wasn't truly really carbon fiber, or it was a really poor and cheap carbon fiber. Either way, I wouldn't recommend this one in particular from Top Fit. Again, this is something that there's tons of manufacturers out there that sell these, including like Pimp My EV has these. There's a whole bunch. I would definitely try a different manufacturer. We're actually in the middle of working with Pimp My EV for a different style of spoiler for the back of ours. And we're gonna try one of those like ducktail style spoilers on the back that give it a bigger, sportier look. Mud flaps is something that we installed again early on after getting our Model Y, and we've actually gone through several different types of mud flaps. If you're not going to put full PPF on your car, and it's because it prevents all those rocks from being kicked up by your tires and then hitting your car. Now, we've lowered our Tesla, so our Model Y sits lower. It actually sits at the height of the performance model. So if you have a standard height Model Y, then you're probably fine using the longer ones. But if you have a performance model, you're definitely going to want the ones that are a little bit shorter on the bottom. And that's because when you go over things like speed bumps or just big, large bumps in general, the long ones, they'll get caught on the road. Now, the ones that we are currently using and rocking are ones that are made from Pimp My EV. I believe they're about like $70. There'll be a link down below. The next one that we're going to cover really does help with overall convenience, and that's an automatic Frunk opening kit. Now, the one that we particularly used is made by Handshow. We're getting close to about 8 months now that we've been using version 5, and we've had no problems. It has worked every single time. We have yet to have it fail. We have no issues with any of the struts on either side, and it's worked great. In fact, with version 5, they also sent us their light kit that goes in here, and I gotta tell you, the light kit is pretty sweet. As you guys can see, we keep stuff in our Frunk. We use this pretty regularly. We went through all the differences between version 5 and the previous versions. Version 5 is super rock solid. It runs about $590, but this is something that you can do yourself. In fact, we did an install video on it. Actually, we did 2 2 install videos on how to install these. It is very simple. You can do it yourself. The first one I did install myself. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is the Model Y yoke. We installed one that was made from Handshow. Not a lot of them come with the heated steering wheel option. Handshow's does, and it worked really great. You do have to transfer over some of the heating element guts from this one to the Handshow one. As you can see, we don't have the yoke. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't recommend it. To be completely honest, the whole concept of using a yoke steering wheel really comes down to personal preference. I actually liked the yoke. I loved it. Michelle absolutely despised it. She hated it. She just didn't like the way that it felt. We opted to take the yoke out and install the old steering wheel back because that's what she preferred. So it's really just a personal preference. They run about $400 from Handshow. Again, it's one that's easy to install, but it takes a little bit of muscle trying to get that bolt off of there, that main bolt that holds it all together, but it is pretty easy to do. We're gonna come back to the very dirty backside of our car. Early on, we took a really big, huge road trip where we went from Philadelphia all the way down to Myrtle Beach. And not only were we driving there, but we took our whole family of 5, and we were actually going for a baseball tournament. So we had to bring a ton of gear. Thankfully, we do have the cargo hitch. So we got a cargo carrier that slides right into the hitch. Now the one that we got was made by Kingbird. It runs about $200 on Amazon. We still have it. We will still throw it on. Now, one thing to note, if you are going to use a cargo carrier, whether it be one you put on a hitch on the tail end of your car or one that you put up top on crossbars, you're going to see some significant range decrease. For us, it was like almost about a full third to a half, depending on how fast you're driving. But it does add a lot of extra space back there, which we fully took advantage of. And for $200, it was pretty solid. And this one may end up being a little on the controversial side, and that is that we upgraded our suspension, the entire suspension for the car. Now, redoing the suspension in your car is obviously a really big project. The kit itself from Unplugged Performance runs about $2,500, and then you have all the labor on top of it. Now, we've had the Unplugged Performance luxury coilover set for about 1.5 years. In that 1.5 years, we have been back and forth to Joe and his team over at Evolution Autosports probably about 5 or 6 times for noise issues that have come up. Unplugged Performance has been fantastic. They have always honored whatever the issue was. They sent new parts out. Joe and his team at Evolution Autosports has also been equally amazing, even kind of above and beyond amazing, because, I mean, let's be honest, this part is not theirs. They're just the installer, and he's been standing behind it the entire way through. And he's been doing that all on his time for free. Now, it's not just because I'm a YouTuber and I make videos on this stuff, but Joe does that regardless of who it is. He just stands behind what he does. The ride is nice, yes, I will say. And it is nice that we can lower it, and the car looks fantastic, and it does ride a little bit better than what the original suspension was on it. But all of the going back and forth problems that we've had, well, it's taken up a lot of our time. It's taken up a whole lot of Joe and his team's time. And it's kind of at the point now where I almost feel like it's fragile. I almost feel like I have to be really careful how I drive my car. So would I redo the suspension again with the luxury coilover kit from Unplugged Performance? No, I wouldn't. And can I recommend it? Possibly. Maybe it was just we got a bad kit. Make sure you're using an installer that's going to stand behind the work and be there for you if problems do arise. Well, there you have it, a recap of 10 different accessories that we've done on our channel. As I mentioned before, links to all of the items will be down in the description below, along with any coupon codes that we may have for any of those items. Let me know down in the comments below what questions you guys have, or if you have questions about maybe another accessory that we did on the channel that we didn't cover in here, maybe we can circle back and do another video where we catch up on some other things that we did. If you found this video helpful and you enjoyed it, please make sure to smash that like button. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. If you need a Tesla referral code, ours will also be down in the description for you. If you want to see an awesome video where we kind of took a look at the accuracy of the Tesla Model Y forecasting, go ahead and check that video out right there. If you want to see the last video we did, check that one out right there. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and we'll see you in another one real soon.